We must all rise as one to condemn these vile and wicked acts to ensure that all the culprits are brought to justice.
Federal government restates commitment to curbing security threats in the country.
We are grateful to the Supreme Court. This matter is over. Let there be peace in our country.
Supreme Court dismisses assets declaration charges against Senate President Bukola Saraki as LPDC sacks 10 lawyers for professional misconduct.
We need to rethink how to build highways that respond to safety first.
Sub-Saharan Africa, transport ministers converge on Abuja, chart new course for efficient transportation system on the continent. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Nancy Godi Angunihu, reading in Abuja. Also reading with me is Elizabeth Omorui in Lagos. And in Benin, Ameze Igebo Ayanru joins us. President Muhammadu Buhari is assuring the nation that disgruntled politicians instigating violence and causing mayhem in parts of the country in their desperate attempt to seeking relevance have lost all arguments and will be fished out and punished appropriately. Speaking at the grand finale of the 2018 Nigeria Army Day celebrations in Monguno, Borno State, the president also promised that all those found culpable in the farmers-herders conflict will be brought to justice. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Monguno is one of the liberated communities from Boko Haram. Its choice as host for this year's Army Day celebration is therefore noteworthy and reassuring to the world that the dark days of terrorism and insurgency are becoming history. Activities for the event with the theme Nigerian Army and National Security, a panacea for Nigeria's economic development, are meant to support Operation Last Hold, aimed at further degrading the terrorists, facilitating restoration of socio-economic activities and fast-tracking the return of the IDPs to their ancestral homes. President Muhammadu Buhari not only applauded the armed forces, particularly the Nigerian army, for defeating Boko Haram, but also their transformational strides in innovation, research, development, and technological advances. The nation, he therefore said, is safe again.
This does not mean there are no challenges. There are pockets of violence in several states, some deliberately instigated by disgruntled politicians who have lost all arguments and are desperate to cause mayhem as a way of seeking relevance. We shall fish them out and punish them according to the provision of law. I also want to assure all Nigerians that the issue of farmers and herdsmen clashes is being tackled, and all those found culpable would be brought to justice.
The president also used the opportunity to reassure the international community that his administration will not relent in efforts at ensuring that Leah Sharibu of Dapchi and the other remaining Chibok schoolgirls still in captivity are released and reunited with their families.
None of our religions or cultures accept killing of people for any reason whatsoever. We must all rise as one to condemn these vile and wicked acts to ensure that all the culprits are brought to justice.
Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, who recalled with sad feelings the worrisome security situation inherited by the governing APC on coming to power, said the people of Borno, and indeed the Northeast, cannot thank President Muhammadu Buhari enough for what he called cutting the Rubicon of insurgency.
Alhamdulillah, we have come to the end of the insurgency. We have crossed the Rubicon, and we are on a path to sustain peace.
Both the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, and the Army Chief said the armed forces of Nigeria never had it so good in terms of empowerment, and therefore reassured President Muhammadu Buhari of their unflinching loyalty and support, as well as irrevocable commitment towards defending Nigeria's territorial integrity.
It is noteworthy that the Nigerian army has keyed into the economic development policy of the present administration through its drive to revive local activities in the war-affected areas of Northeast.
The Nigerian army has thus demonstrated that national security can be achieved not only through kinetic operations, but more essentially through productive economic activities.
The Nigerian army is committed more than ever before to stabilize the Northeast and to achieve Mr. President's security objectives in other parts of the country as well.
As part of the celebrations, President Muhammadu Buhari unveiled the first made-in-Nigeria mines-resistant ambush-protected vehicles called Thunder. Weighing 19 tons, the mission-adaptive vehicles have the ability to deal with extremely rough terrain effortlessly and provide superior crew protection from high-degree threats. July 6th every year is celebrated as Nigerian Army Day in solemn remembrance of the very first shot marking the commencement of the civil war to keep Nigeria one. From Monguno in Borno State, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, is in our Maiduguri Network Center to speak more on 2018 Nigeria Army Day. Good evening, Chief of Army Staff.
Nancy, good evening.
How has the celebration impacted on Army responsibilities?
Thank you very much. This year's celebration is unique, as you've heard from your very well-researched and indeed produced report. The theme of the Nigerian Army Day celebration is the Nigerian Army and National Security, panacea for Nigeria's economic development. We look at it in the perspective of our constitutional responsibilities. First of all, if you look at Section 217 of Nigerian Constitution 1999, we have that tax, to protect our country from external aggression, to also defend her territorial integrity, and to come to aid of the civil authority. When you look at it in this perspective, among others, we've been able to contain the Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast, and we have also been able to make sure that the internally displaced persons have returned, and this is the main thrust of Operation Last Hold as part of the Nigerian Army celebration. So our responsibilities are clearly spelled out, and we've protected our country from external aggression, which the Boko Haram symbolizes along with other external forces. And we've also come to the aid of the civil authority by dealing with this insurgency issue.
Of Army Staff, you said that the theme of this celebration is Nigerian Army and National Security and Development. What are the unique events of the 2018 Army Day?
For the first time, we've been able to infuse some innovation where we have the trade fair. We also have exhibition of both international and locally manufactured military equipment, as well as we've had the equipment display of the Nigerian Army. These are not always the case. The infusion of Operation Last Hold as part of Nigerian Army Day celebration, where we have we provide security to the farmers, that is the internally displaced persons that have returned back to their homes. We are providing them security to go to their farms. We have cleaned their environment, their homes that they have left some 5-6 years ago. These are quite unique activities that we've added to this year's day celebration.
In innovations, why the choice of Monguno, Borno State, as host town of this all-important event?
Monguno lies at the heart of the northern Borno. It's strategically located. We have one of our formations located there. That is the 8th Task Force Division. You remember also sometimes just before the administration came on board, Monguno was occupied by the Boko Haram terrorists, and they were subsequently evicted through the gallant efforts of our troops, and combined with the other services, the Air Force, and indeed the Navy at this time. This symbolizes the very fact that the Boko Haram have dominated that area for some time. And with our efforts, we've been able to clear them from the area. It's a vast area in northern Borno, which is wide open, and with our dominance and our presence in that place in large number, combined with the Operation Last Hold, we're able to effectively get control of the whole of the northern part of Borno, and by implication also the whole of the northeast, because that area is co-located or very close to Lake Chad waters, and most of these Boko Haram terrorists hibernate between Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, and indeed Niger Republic. So our domination of that area significantly indicates that we've contained the Boko Haram terrorists across the northeast.
In that program there is strategic. Thank you so much, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, for speaking to us. And now, more from the military. The Nigerian Air Force has redeployed 52 senior officers comprising 16 air vice marshals, 16 air commodores, 9 group captains, and 4 squadron leaders. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Vice Marshal Olatokunbo Adesonya, indicates that the redeployment and other key appointments are parts of the Nigerian Air Force routine exercise aimed towards enhancing operational effectiveness and administrative efficiency. The newly appointed Branch Chief of Communications and Information Systems, Air Vice Marshal Kingsley Lar, is Chief of Administration, Air Vice Marshal Charles Ogoinwen, Commandant, Air Force War College, and James Gwani as the Commander, Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole. Now, keeping up the standard, the Nigeria Police Force is to strengthen synergy with sister agencies to upscale the use of technology in combating crimes in the country. Force Public Relations Officer, Acting Deputy Commissioner of Police, Jimo Moshood, stated this while parading 37 suspects at the Divisional Police Headquarters in Suleja, Niger State. Olajide Bello reports.
The 37 suspects were arrested for offences ranging from kidnap for ransom, armed robbery, cattle rustling, transborder car snatching, and killings in Kaduna, Mina, Tegina, Breningwari, and Funtua. The Nigeria Police Force says in view of these crimes, its operations have been strengthened with additional police personnel and needed logistics to proactively tackle the menace.
Concerned with the spate of criminal activities of hoodlums around Niger, Kaduna, Katsina to Zamfara, to equally the Benue, Plateau, and the other region. The Inspector General of Police have deployed Special Intervention Force to Plateau State. He has equally made a special deployment to all other areas that we are witnessing some upsurge in crimes and criminality.
On the heels of the ambush attack and killings of the 7 police personnel on duty at Galadimawa, the force spokesperson says
some arrests have been made in respect of the attacks, more arrests are being made, and we will ensure that all the perpetrators that were involved in this heinous crime are apprehended. Part of the measure put in place is to ensure that police personnel that are deployed for special duty are properly protected.
The Nigeria Police Force says there will be no safe haven for perpetrators of crimes in the country. From the Divisional Police Headquarters in Suleja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And Niger State government is to synergize with security agencies in addressing challenges facing the state. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello stated this when 42 police officers were decorated with their new ranks at the state police headquarters at Minna. Fatima Usman reports.
Promoted from Chief Superintendent to Assistant Commissioner of Police, while 12 others were elevated from Superintendent to Chief Superintendent of Police. 17 police officers moved from Assistant to Deputy Superintendent of Police, including ADC to Niger State Governor Isa Murtala and the State Police Public Relations Officer Muhammad Dainna Abubakar. Performing the decoration ceremony, Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, supported by the State Commissioner of Police, Dibal Paul Yakadi, congratulated the newly promoted officers and lauded the efforts of security operatives in the state for making the state a reference point security-wise, and assured of his administration's willingness to offer them necessary assistance towards the protection of lives and property in the state.
We must provide full support for the police and reduce hardship for the police.
Commissioner of Police, Niger State Command, Paul Yakadi, charged the promoted officers to show high level of maturity and sense of responsibility in their new positions, as a lot is expected from them.
You must work diligently with the fear of God in you as you discharge your responsibilities in Niger State.
For the newly promoted and decorated officers, it was a dream come true. In Mina, Fatima Usman, NTA News.
This is the NTA Network News. We'll bring you more reports after the break. Don't go away.
The National Judicial Council will, in line with the provisions of Section 15 of the Pension Reform Act 2014 and as part of the issuance of Federal Government Retirement Bond, commence an enrollment exercise of the employees of the Federal Judiciary that will retire from service in 2019 after attaining 60 years of age or 35 years in service. The affected retired employees will be physically enrolled except for those physically unfit who are exempted, but should provide evidence from a government-approved hospital certifying their unfitness, while next of kins are to come with all relevant documents. The exercise will commence on the 9th to 24th July 2018. Please note that only retirees who have been enrolled will be issued the Federal Government Retirement Bond, which will be liquidated and paid into their retirement savings accounts with their respective pension funds administrators. See national dailies for details of designated geographical zones, venues, dates and requirements of relevant documents for the enrollment. Signed, Management, National Judicial Council.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigeria SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards to improve made in Nigeria products for export. We have developed more standards for products like sesame, cocoa, gari, and more, courtesy of our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turned around time for SUNCAP, MANCAP, and other certification processes. SON has intensified market surveillance, raids, and seizures to reduce substandard products in circulation, and offenders shall be prosecuted. Join SON in ridding our nation of substandard products. If you see something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
The federal government of Nigeria, through the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, will be conducting a comprehensive national survey known as the Nigerian HIV Indicator and Impact Survey, NICE, to reliably estimate the current status and spread of HIV and hepatitis B and C across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. NICE will help to plan and develop more effective programs to control HIV and hepatitis, as well as reduce their spread in our communities, leading to healthier individuals and families. NICE will be implemented through close collaboration with state governments and agencies by conducting interviews and blood tests on qualified participants in randomly selected households across Nigeria. NICE is free, voluntary and confidential. NICE has commenced and will last for a period of about 6 months. This announcement is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA.
Time don't reach again for the biggest event for top football matter. Now mobile pill and win. And as millions of people around the world they scatter their head on top their favorite teams, mobile won't make sure say you go hammer your own trophy big time. Whether you be mechanic, driver, even car owner. Now mobile pill and win. Just buy the 4-liter size of mobile super 1000 lubricant. Build the front and back labels and you go see pin number. Text mobile plus the pin to 58123 and instanta you go win airtime. That pin where you send so go also qualify you for the raffle draw for mobile pill and win promo where you fit win tear rubber motor, generator, gas cooker, motorcycle, tricycle, smartphone and other prizes there. No be small, you know. Mobile promo go shell from the 15th of May go reach 31st of August 2018. The more mobile lubricant you buy, the more your chance to win. No dull yourself, oh. Make you dey peel, dey win, dey go. Terms and conditions dey shall.
Make it mobile.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Time to go to legal matters. The Supreme Court has vacated the judgment of the Court of Appeal ordering the Code of Conduct Tribunal to retry the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, on assets declaration charges. The Apex Court, in the judgment read by Justice Santos Chima Wenze, vacated the order of the lower court for lack of merit. Dele Atumbi reports.
Now been finally determined by the Apex Court, commenced at the Code of Conduct Tribunal with 18-count charge bordering on false declaration of assets by the Senate President Bukola Saraki, preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The offences were allegedly committed by the defendant when he was governor of Kwara State. The Code of Conduct Tribunal dismissed the 18-count charge against Saraki for lack of evidence to support the charges. This judgment of the trial court was challenged by the FCC at the Court of Appeal. The appellate court then dismissed 15 of the charges and upheld 3 for a trial by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. It is that pronouncement that was challenged by Saraki at the Supreme Court. The panel of justices at the Apex Court absolved Bukola Saraki of the remaining 3-count charge. Justice Santos Chima Nweke pointed out that the judgment of the Court of Appeal was based on ASC evidence that is inadmissible in law. Justice Nweke described the judgment as a judicial charge which the Supreme Court cannot align itself with.
We are grateful to the Supreme Court. This matter is over. Let there be peace in our country.
That's the decision of the Apex Court. And being the decision of the Apex Court is binding on everyone.
This judgment now cleanses Dr. Bukola Saraki of any offense in the declaration of his assets as governor of Kwara State. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Same Supreme Court dismissed an appeal filed by Senator Ayogu Eze seeking to upturn the emergence of Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State as the winner of the People's Democratic Party PDP primary election in 2014. Aliyu Tukuru reports that the Apex Court ordered Senator Ayogu Eze to pay 1 million naira to the defendant for raising issues that have been decided already.
Delivered by a 5-man panel, Justice Sentus Nweze held that the appellant lacks the locus standi to institute the case because he did not participate in the party's primaries, which he himself admitted in his affidavit. The court held that the lower court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the suit filed by Senator Eze since he did not qualify to challenge the outcome of the primaries. As such, the court dismissed the appeal on the grounds that it lacks merit. In another development, the same panel of justices confirmed Senator Basi Akpan as the senator representing Uyo Senatorial District in Akwa Ibom State.
Well, again, that is a validation of the position we had always canvassed before the lower courts. We had indicated that the appellant did not prove his case. In fact, he did not even participate in the primary.
They say the court is the last hope of the common man. As a common man like me, despite all the distractions, I'm grateful to God, grateful to my people, and I'm very thankful to the judges.
In the pre-election matter, which has been lingering since 2015, Basi Etim is challenging the PDP primaries that saw the emergence of Senator Basi Akpan as the party's senatorial candidate. Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
And the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee has suspended 10 lawyers for various number of years, ranging from 1 to 3 years, and completely debarred one for professional misconduct. This is the fallout of the last sitting by the committee in Abuja, and Femi Okeowo was there.
Unimaginable violations are taking place in various professions across the country these days. But while Nigerians claim that a blind eye is being turned against these violations by the professional bodies, the Nigerian Bar Association, through its disciplinary arm, the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, continues to confront the unethical conduct of its practitioners. Would you believe if you are told that lawyers who are meant to resolve conflicts of their clients end up exchanging blows themselves in a court of law? Hard to believe, but that is what Ken Obi and Okechukwu Nweze did at a magistrate court in Kano. And for that, they got a suspension of 12 months from law practice. As for Imo Effiong Apang, who held back a client's fee of 21 million naira, he is to lose his wig and gown completely and pay back the balance of 14 million naira to the client. 10 other legal practitioners were given terms of suspension ranging from 2 to 3 years. Chairman of the disciplinary committee, Mr. Joseph Daudu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, warned that the Nigerian Bar Association will not condone professional misconduct by any of its members. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Away from the legal matters, the disappointing performance in the social sectors, coupled with the economy in the sub-Saharan Africa, is changing to an improved sustainable development with emerging policies in transportation. At a meeting of African ministers of transportation in Abuja, governments within the region reiterated determination to support free access of movement for trade and commerce. Usman Aliyu reports.
Lagos, Nigeria, an emerging megacity, renowned with commerce and opportunities for interconnections with other African nations and beyond. So also Kano, a trading hub. It also has a unique advantage of international trading, but sometimes movements is difficult and frustrating in these cities. A big challenge of infrastructure shortfalls for transportation that has been telling on social and economic well-being of the people. Ministers of 31 African states gather here to share experience of how to improve the transportation systems in their countries, including connections within member nations to help sustain the ongoing recovery of domestic demands, especially investment on infrastructure with better policies.
We need to rethink how to build highways that respond to safety first.
Technology will be a must for the competitiveness of Africa's transport industry to ensure its ability to address the real-time needs of its client.
There are suggestions by major key players in the transportation.
To go to one of the African cities, you have to fly around and perhaps go to Europe and come back. So once the aviation sector or mode of transportation is enhanced, it means faster, safer, more efficient travel.
We should emulate other countries like Saudi Arabia. Trucks that carry fuel should not drive in the afternoon.
Nigeria and other nations are figured out by the recent World Bank's new economic outlook as experiencing pickup in manufacturing, and the actors here believed with commitment on provision of critical infrastructure by present government in the transportation sector, economic growth will keep going up. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
The people of Kano State have commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his concern over the perennial water shortage bedeviling Kano, which prompted him to seek foreign loan of $75 million. This was in reaction to one of the bilateral agreements signed between Nigeria and France during President Macron's visit to Abuja. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Kano metropolitan area, which consists of 8 local government areas, has been grappling with perennial shortage of potable drinking water for decades. Successive administrations initiated strategies to overcome the problem, but remained an exercise in futility. Statistics from the State Water Board show that the demand of water supply to Kano metropolis stands at 750 million litres per day, but the 4 water treatment plants in Chalawa, Tambra and Watari, with combined daily supply capacity of 450 million litres, now provide between 300 and 350 million litres.
We have constraints of some old pipelines and need for expansion in some areas.
The problem, therefore, affects most parts of Kano metropolis. This concern of millions of Kano people come to an end with the signing of an agreement with the French government for the provision of $75 million loan facility towards improving water supply in Kano City.
So we have to appreciate and thank Mr. President for answering our call, for answering our request.
And improving water supply is not only about making water available to the people, but also improving health condition of our people.
It is expected that the concessional loan will help Kano State government to provide drinking water for more people through improved reticulation at its raw water intake, effective pipeline network and metering. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And on the political scene, National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Comrade Adams Oshomole, has reiterated the party's determination towards victory in the July 14th governorship election in Ekiti State. The chairman at a media briefing speaks on the party's campaign strategies, which he says are preparing the ground for their success. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
We have as a party for them.
In about a week from now, the people of Ekiti will go to the polls to elect a new leader that will pilot the affairs of the state for 4 years.
APC!
Already, the atmosphere in Ekiti State is agog with political activities and campaigns by political parties, including the governing All Progressives Congress. The national leadership of the APC is standing firm on its readiness and victory for its candidate, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, who is said to be tested and trusted in his political career and service at both state and national levels.
On Tuesday next week, we are going for another mega rally to bring to a close the campaigns. And I believe that the people of Ekiti State are now very much aware of what the issues are, and they will be able to make a sensible judgment. And we are very certain that it will be in favor of our candidate and of our party.
The briefing had in attendance members of the party's National Working Committee in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated his Turkish counterpart Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan on his re-election and said he looked forward to strengthening of relations between the two countries. A statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity indicates that in a telephone conversation with President Erdogan this evening, President Buhari expressed the hope that the results of the recently held elections will strengthen democracy and lead Turkey towards more economic prosperity. President Buhari welcomed his invitation to the Monday 9th inauguration, but regretted his inability to be personally present. He told the Turkish president that he would be sending the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Mohammed Musa Bello, to represent him. Presidents Buhari and Erdogan enjoy a great relationship and have met a number of times since their coming into office. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with the former Minister of Science and Technology, Major General Sam Ifeanyi-Chukwumoma, on his 75th birthday anniversary. A statement by Presidential Media Advisor Femi Adesina, President Buhari, while saluting the astute administrator for his strong sense of patriotism, described Major General Moma's fearless and consistent advocacy for good governance in Nigeria as highly resourceful. The president praised that the Almighty God will grant and give the retired military officer longer life and good health. We now go over to Lagos to join Elizabeth for more news.
Hello, Nancy, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. The Federal Road Safety Court says there will be no extension of enforcement date for safety standards on vehicles across the country. The Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi stated this at a meeting with the zonal, sector and unit commanders of Lagos and Ogun States. Ime Udori compiled this report.
This meeting was to review the performances of the two zones and also to sensitize personnel of the command on the position of the Corps for effective road management. The Corps Marshal, who described the Lagos-Ogun corridor as critical to the nation's economy, said the Corps will strategize to ensure the safety of lives and property on the highways. He explained that it will partner with the Lagos State government on vehicle inspection model to check the minimum safety standards of vehicles, especially those heavy-duty trucks and tankers operating from the tank farms.
We must ensure that all these falling containers, all these broken down old flatbed does not repeat itself. We must ensure sanity prevails on the highway. This is the mandate. And we must be ready for these challenges. We must face the responsibilities given to us, and that we cannot afford to fail.
While commending the federal government's support, the Corps Marshal disclosed that the Corps will deploy more resources and logistics to enhance its operations. He, however, described the recent tanker fire on Otedola Bridge in Lagos as unfortunate and promised that the Corps will improve on its strategies to avert and reduce such occurrences.
The federal government has unveiled a user-friendly application at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport to remove critical bottlenecks and bureaucratic constraints to doing business in Nigeria. The application, initiated by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, for service users to give feedback about quality of services rendered by government agencies at the nation's airports, is expected to promote transparency and accountability. Elizabeth Ewuga reports.
With this app, passengers and the general public can now register their complaints or commend the quality of services rendered by government agencies at the airport, with the assurance that such complaints will be attended to and resolved within 72 hours in line with the provisions of Executive Order 1 of the federal government. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, who inaugurated the FEBEC desk, noted that the initiative will usher in efficiency, probity, and accountability while also eliminating corruption in service delivered to customers.
We also want to attract foreign investment. So the whole PEBEC initiative is to make things simpler, systemically simpler for everybody to be able to do business easily here. So we're removing regulatory challenges, we're removing bottlenecks. We want to make things faster and easier and to cost less for businesses to operate in Nigeria.
The transparency and accountability nature of the app will not only place all agencies on a single platform, but mandates them to pursue quality assurance.
Now we have an open house where people can air their mind
they feel free to talk about their airport experience, and that's improved customer service, customer relations.
9 agencies with direct interface with travelers and investors are presently being engaged as pilot scheme. In Lagos, Elizabeth Abuja, NTA News.
And still on business, federal government reiterates commitment to promoting zero oil economy through the National Economic Council as the oil share index of the capital market extends its losing streak. For details of these and more, let's now join Abolade Salami in our business news segment.
Glad to have you join us on the business news segment. The federal government, as part of its drive towards enhancing the non-oil sector for economic growth, is leveraging on the power of the private sector by harnessing the dynamism of business and entrepreneurial nature of Nigerians. Permanent Secretary, Minister of Budget and National Planning, Olajide Odewale, says government is committed to building a globally competitive economy with massive investment in infrastructure and improved business environment.
The federal government, in collaboration with state governments, through the instrumentality of the National Economic Council, is currently promoting zero oil economy. The zero oil economy plan, when finalized, will be adopted as a national agenda to further diversify Nigeria's economy away from petroleum. The plan, among others, is to add at least $150 billion to the country's foreign reserves, cumulatively from non-oil exports over the next 10 years.
The need to work on changing the nation's narrative of high import dependence requires diversification from a mono economy to the non-oil sector that can drive the engine of growth. So Segun Awolowo believes the country needs to scale up its productivity level.
The diversification program of the federal government of Nigeria aims on the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan, the Zero Oil Plan, and now the Economic Recovery Growth Plan. So that is the way to go, but we need to scale it up. I tell people that we can only export what has been produced.
And now let's see how stocks were traded on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today.
At the close of Friday's trading, the oil share index dipped by 0.31% to close at 37,625.99 basis points, with a volume of shares worth 390 million, valued at 307 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 4,084 deals, with a market capitalization of 13.6 trillion naira. Guarantee with 1 naira 46 kobo gain led the table, followed by Julius Berger, which appreciated by 55 kobo, while Mobil with 10 naira loss led the losers table, followed by Dangote Cement, which depreciated by 3 naira per share.
Stock market report concludes business news segment. The news continues shortly. Please stay with us.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead. When we return, stay with us.
Suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
From the last penalty kick, can Lariat score and defeat malaria? And Lariat make history today. Lariat is set to take the final kick. He steps forward, he kicks it. It's a goal! Lariat has made history, striking out malaria.
Lariat, an anti-malaria drug formulated with artemether plus lumefantrine, a winning combination that treats malaria effectively. When malaria strikes, hit malaria back and hard with Lariat. Lariat comes in ranges of tablets for adults, disposable tablets, and suspension for children for easy usage to protect yourself and family from malaria. Hit malaria with Lariat today. Manufactured by S County Healthcare Limited and marketed by Farm Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult your doctor.
Thank you for staying with us. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, is redoubling efforts to ensure that customers in the sector get the best of services. Director of Consumer Affairs of the Commission, Felicia Onwe-Buchula, made the promise during consumer outreach program held in Onitsha, Anambra State. Uchenna Nwekoye reports.
The consumer outreach program with the team using information and education as tools for consumer empowerment and protection is aimed at bringing together telecom service providers and their customers to interact on possible ways of resolving the challenges facing the sector. Director of Consumer Affairs, NCC, represented by the Director of Public Affairs, Ruben Moka, said the program is to empower consumers to make informed decisions in the choice of services to subscribe to avoid being unduly exploited.
We want to educate them, especially as it affects their opportunities or solutions that abound, which they don't utilize. If there is no consumer, there will be no service provider, and probably there will be no NCC.
Some of the issues addressed were the complaint of unsolicited text messages and some erroneous perception about base stations alleged to be having health hazards.
That is why the Commission came up with the issue of 2442 to stop unsolicited messages in the name of do not disturb. And then we have the issue of automatic data renewal, which led to the direction on that.
It's very good. In fact, this is my first time of coming for such an occasion, and I really learned a lot.
What they did is very good, and I like it.
Consumers are expected to lodge their complaints to NCC using 622 toll-free line or text stop to 2442 to activate the Do Not Disturb code for unsolicited text messages. In Onitsha, Uchenna Nwekoyo, NTA News.
And Charles Makurudi takes us through on the next set of reports. Hello, Charles.
And welcome to Makurudi. More than 100,000 children under 5 years in 4 local government areas of Benue State have benefited from the Integrated Community Case Management Project of the Christian Aid UK. This came to the fore at an symposium organized by the Benue State Government, Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Christian Aid UK. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports.
World Health Organization statistics places Nigeria as having a high rate of childhood mortality, as many under 5 children die daily. It is part of efforts to reduce this infant morbidity and mortality that the Christian Aid UK launched a partnership for improved child health project in Benue State. These projects are implemented in Konshisha, Kwande, Okpoku, and Obo local government areas. Country Director Christian Aid. The 3-year project is targeted at providing timely and effective treatment for diseases like malaria, diarrhea, and pneumonia to children below 5 in hard-to-reach communities.
2 years down the line, how far have we come? What have we achieved? What is the future? And then what are the challenges that we should eliminate right now to finish the project well?
Other speakers opined that the recruitment of community resource persons which have been armed with drugs for the treatment of these diseases have not only reduced out-of-pocket expenditure on health care for children under 5, but also created awareness of combating child killer diseases. Benue State Deputy Abono and Commissioner for Health, Dr. Cecilia Ojabo, commended Christian Aid for the project, which they say has increased access to health care in the implemented communities. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
That's the report we have from Makurdi. Nancy, is back to you.
Thank you, Charles. Now, in order to consolidate on the knowledge acquired in Malaysia, delegates participating in the understudy of public service in Southeast Asia are now in Singapore. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
House in Singapore.
The first port of call by the delegates is the Nigerian High Commission to have a sense of belonging before proceeding to the office of the head of service of Singapore, where the subgroup had a closed-door meeting with the head of service, Liu Yip.
We have been working very closely with industry.
At the Singapore Institute for Technical Education, the group and other delegates had a robust session to further broaden their knowledge.
Records show that the relations between Nigeria and Singapore had been on the increase since 2012, culminating in the first business and investment summit in 2013. But of what impact will this visit be on Nigeria?
Being truthful, about being patriotic, about believing that the country is one before any other. The country is our own, and we must develop it.
And this region of the world got their first seedings of oil palm from Naifor, Benin. So in the last 3 years, emphasis has shifted back to agriculture. So I believe in that particular area, we have really been able to rediscover our priorities. There is new interest in rail development, grows seriously in the last 2-3 years now.
It is on record that Singapore is the 5th foreign investor in Nigeria and operates a remarkable open and transparent environment. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Up next is sports update after this timeout.
Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three
you are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
Welcome.
You take that one.
Yeah, take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigeria homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
How they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
International Breweries PLC, producer of lager beer Trophy, has commended the Super Eagles for their patriotic performance at the 2018 World Cup Games in Russia, despite their gallant exit. Olumide Eguntola tells us more in Lagos.